Wednesday. I'm Jenny.
I'm Gabby.
Let's
Spill the beans, y'all.
Okay, so we're starting out on year 20 here. But essentially, we wanted this episode because we knew it was kind of going to drop around Halloween. We wanted to center it around Halloween.
Gotta celebrate.
I feel there. One thing that we thought would be really funny to talk about was I had mentioned to someone we were in conversation and I was like, "Oh, what's your sign?" And they said X, Y, and Z, and I was like, "Oh, that's why you feel that way. Like you're a lover, you can't help it." And which I immediately got called demonic. Like, you don't think that's demonic? And it took me a second because I was like, the stigma around this is insane. And I'm like, is it because we live in the Bible Belt? Is it because, like, people are just afraid to learn something? Like, I'm not really sure what.
The way they just automatically. That makes me think of, I remember this video of this girl. She said that her mom would tell her all kinds of random stuff was demonic. And she was in the store with her boyfriend. And he mentioned, like, Hello Kitty. And she was like, that's demonic. And she kind of had to unpack that and be like, why would I think Hello Kitty is demonic? Of all things.
I do think it's funny, though, because the way that he was, like, unhesitant to say that at all made me giggle because I was like, wow. It's like, I don't know if it's, like, a lack of knowledge or just, like, immediate judgment. And I was like, it was feeling more like immediate judgment to me because it was like, without even allowing me to explain, like, oh, well, this is your sign, these are your characteristics. Like, you can't help your friend like that, baby. You're your friend like that. You're a lover. You don't have to admit it. I know you're a lover. Like, from one water sign to another, I know a lover. So I was like, well, that could be a fun topic to discuss.
Not to mention, if you guys are going to get to know me and Jenny more, Jenny kind of, like, when she talks about people, she gets to know them better through their signs.
Right.
And so I got really interested in learning astrology because it was like, I'm learning Jenny's language at this point. So when she's, like, telling me about people, I understand more about what she's saying when it's not just her description, but also, like, how I interpret what those signs mean.
Because, like, a lot of people, I feel like, I don't know if it's a fear or a stigma, but a lot of times, like, I just know for me personally, like, when I actually, like, I dove head first into astrology, like, for me, it felt, something about it felt right. Like, I'm not saying, like, I don't believe in God or anything like that. I'm saying more so, like, it helped me understand just in a different way. Like, I'd be like, oh, you're really not a jerk. You're like, you just have those traits.
It helps you have a different perspective and not have that instant judgment of, like, instead it's, oh, you struggle with this kind of thing.
Yes. And, like, I think it was kind of powerful because I was, like, for a long time, I feel like I was questioning myself, like, why do I feel so passionately about this? And, like, I feel like I'm a Cancer, and we get a bad stigma for being crowded. I just want to know if I could. Ooh, I thought so. Everybody needs to clear the room. Okay, it's not gonna be a good day for me or anyone else in there. But I wondered why it was like I would feel so passionately about certain things, like especially like I dive in, like my circle is always in my circle. I don't really ask people. And if I do, you gotta be like a certain kind of person that you really have access to like that. And a part of me was like, well, why am I like? And then like, I was like kind of detached. And I was like, well, I gotta figure out like, how can I feel like what is gonna help me understand me? And so my dad had like asked me had I ever had a neighbor before. I was like, no, not really. So he did my birth chart, and by me just like, I'm gonna say indulged. I indulged in it, and I really like took that information and tried to like actually like compare it to places that I've been in my life and just like different times, different struggles, and I could see why I felt the way I felt. And I was like, wow, like it was crazy to me because I was down with 20, and I was like, yeah, I'm sad it took me 20 years to actually kind of get to know myself on a different level. But at the same time, like I think this is the best thing that's ever happened because, like you said, it's kind of like a language I'm speaking now. Like it really helps me understand people a lot better. And like I said, it takes away that judgment. It's not, I'm not here to pass judgment, but I do want to understand why you feel the way you feel. And if that helps you do that, I'm totally like glad it helps me all the way through and through. Like I remember even like telling so fun fact about us where we have a trio and our trio is Gemini, Taurus, Cancer. So, like, we're a loving, non-confrontational group. We love each other, okay? We don't want to confront each other ever. And, like, if it does happen, most of the time, it's like a retrograde or something going on. And it's like, it's not really you that feels like this, but a little bit. Like, this is, like, you can say it's a surface thing, but it's much deeper. This is, a lot of times, like, I feel like astrology helps people kind of get their roots more on, I guess, a soulful level. Like, it kind of helps you really understand, well, this person might be very passionate about, like, their politics. This person might be very passionate about their home, the way that they love, or the way they see people. And I think all of that is just really important. Like, especially as people, especially in today's society, like, there's not enough love in the world. So, like, if I can read your chart and, like, feel enough for that, like, we can get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're perfect.
I will say, in that same note, I often won't just ask anybody about their charts. Like, I kind of, like, have the time to, like, get to know them, because it is kind of, like, because to me, learning astrology, like you said, it felt right to you. To me, it felt right because of everything that I've learned on the science side about how DNA and, like, physical coding works, and I was always really interested in psychology and the whole nature versus nurture. So it kind of almost feels like your DNA is that nature, and then even, I guess, part of that, the astrology side, is like your personality's code.
Yeah.
And so when you dive into people's stuff, you see them in a whole new light.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I had a friend that it was like, we were kind of more surface level friends, and then it was like, we had some really deep conversations this year that I felt kind of like, we really bonded.
Right.
In that, and I ended up looking at his chart, and it blew my mind, because it's one of those, like, of course we get along in the way that we do, and we communicate in the way that we do, and it's like, but then it's also when I see certain stuff, and I'm like, oh, so that's why you're like,
that's why you.
Sometimes for a lot of people, it's like, in what way are you delusional?
Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone's kind of got something that they don't want to see the truth about in their own lives. So it's like, what part of your life are you just kind of like masking?
Yeah. Because I think as an adult, like, a lot of people aren't submit, but we all, like, whether you're masking, like, issues with work, issues with yourself, issues with confidence, reality, maybe your finances, like, I think that was another thing. Because I do agree with what you said. I don't think you can just approach anybody like, oh my God, what's your sign? Like, I do think you have to feel the vibe out, especially where we live at, just because, like,
you never know, someone's going to call you demonic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't even trying to be called demonic. I just was asking a question and had no idea that it could be interpreted like that. And I thought to myself, like, I was like, what a crazy interaction, because, like, you guys know me. I'm, like, the farthest from, like,
I mean, like, we grew up religious. We both been baptized. Like, we went through the whole thing. We have an understanding. We have a relationship with Christianity, kind of always. And we're also, honestly, we're like super superstitious people, I feel like. So it's like the people in the movie that are like reading a book, and it's like, this book is cursed. If you read it out loud, you're going to be cursed. We're closing the book. I don't care if it's a joke. I don't care if it's at Hobby Lobby.
Right.
I'm not reading that out loud.
Yes.
Because that's just, I'm not putting something like that out there.
Like that.
Because, like, weird stuff just happens, you know? Weird stuff just happens. I'm not adding to it. I'm not stirring the pot in that way.
Because you know what? I can make enough that like, I don't need something else to add it to me. Like, and you know, I think that's like a fascinating part for me too, with people, like, go back to, like, the understanding. Like, I think in that moment, I was, like, so willing to understand that person based upon, like, their son, and, like, kind of, like, the information that I had about them, and then the way that it was, like, received and given back. I was like, oh, and I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a safe state. Maybe this isn't a safe state. And then, like, it made me just honestly, like, the judgment part, because it was like, I didn't immediately pass judgment to you. I didn't even pass judgment to you afterwards. I mean, I kind of looked at you a little funny, like, oh, you're funny. But for the most part, it's just like, you were so quick to, like, just make that statement, that I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, wow, like, stand up guy, huh? Real good citizen. Like, I'm saying he's not, but just saying, like, the way it was so easy to pass that judgment, I could kind of see the way.
But especially with some, current climactic things that are going on, the way that some people will not stand up for stuff, but they will so quickly just, especially when, like, one of the main things is, like, you don't make that call, buddy.
Right.
That's not your, don't throw stones in glass houses. So,
well, maybe if we died tomorrow and then look at our grave, it'd be the same thing, it'd be a problem.
Well, and it's not like we don't have friends who are, like, super Christian that will talk to us about it.
Right.
And that's one of those where it's just like we're just interested in learning things and like seeing different perspectives and stuff, and knowing that just because one person feels a certain way, that's not going to shape the way like my whole world is.
Right.
Or maybe it does. Maybe it does change the way I think about myself. But that's always good to have that, like, something to make you more introspective.
Right. And I think that was another thing that kind of called me to astrology, because like, I'm a water sign. Well, I'm an infant too, and like, I think I used to tell you all the time, like, some days it would be like the highs were so high, but the lows would be so low. And then it took me a long time to actually realize what I was saying. I was like, oh, okay. And a part of like in my chart, I'm a Cancer, so like, it's not a natural thing to like turn it back into my shell. And that is something like I've been actively working on for a couple of years of like, when I am feeling something, I need to be forced for that situation. Like, I need to actually bring that to the surface and deal with it. Instead, the easier thing for me to do is stack up at the house. Y'all might not hear, but like, just recharging and revamping. But at the same time, like, that's still something I'm working on. Like, I need to, like, I have a hard time with consultation. And I think for me, I think that actually stems from, like, if I was better at confronting my own feelings, then I would be better at confronting it in general. But at the same time, I'm really big on, like, positive vibes. So, like, I want to put as much good in as I can, because honestly, it still sticks with me too. Like, you really never know what people go home with. You don't know what they go home to. You don't know what kind of value is type thing. And I think that was another thing that pissed me off about that, because I was like, wow, like, this one conversation will probably like allow you to have like a certain picture or like way that you perceive me, but it's like you didn't even give me a chance. Like, I'm willing to hear what you have to say. So like, my kids would be like a common ground. Like, I'm interested. Like, I'm not even like upset or anything. I'm just really interested. I want to know what made you feel that way. What got us from here to here. You know. And then I just think it's like one of those things too, specifically like, you do live in a Bible Belt. So it's like, I'm not going to say it's like pushed down the face. Like you said, a majority of us grew up in the church. A majority of us grew up going every week. We got baptized. We did all the things. And then it's like...
And like, for those of you that live here, But those of you that don't, there is like, it'll be like every mile on a road. There's not food for miles. You're in the middle of a food desert. But there's church after church after church with all these different denominations that will tell you something completely different. And a lot of times it depends on the pastor that they have.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten to where it's like our friend's church. I'm like, that is like the model church. Like they like have a food bank for people, and they do all they can to like help other people out, and they take their kids to other churches so that they can see how other people practice religion. And it's like, that is like the model, but it's sad that is such a outlier compared to the way that everything else is.
Well, I think the part of it too is just, I'm not going to say it's frustrating, but it's almost like if you were truly living in the Word, like if you're one of those people and you're truly living in the Word, that's like what you want to be doing. You want to be providing. You want to give others what you don't have, do it to others. You don't have to yourself, like, and I think sometimes that perception goes away. Like, it's like, I hate to say this, but like, think of a Sunday lunch. Okay, we both did it in restaurant. You know what it's like. I promise you, if I can help it, I will never wait on a Sunday church crowd again. Like, and it's not that I think all of the church crowd is bad, but there's just like those certain ones. It's like, let me think of how to word it. I'm sorry as hell because I forgot your ranch, but like, you're gonna leave me an invite to church, but you're also gonna leave me an unexpected pregnancy card, and it's like, well, I'm confused. Did you like? I don't know how to read you, baby girl. Like, are we okay? And then like you can feel the tension sometimes, where it's like they kind of come in. I hate to use this phrase, but like I say they're holy. So like they got that high from church, like, and I support it. Like if you go to church, I think that's so amazing. I think everyone should have something to do that.
Well, and I mean, it's good community, and a lot of churches are a lot more like upbeat, so it kind of gets you like invigorated, and good feelings, good people,
and like that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about the community, the word, the vibe. Like you're supposed to take something from it, but it don't kill me because I'll go to like Holy Roll at church, and then they'll come to a restaurant and cuss you out about rent, and it's like, hold on now.
No, what's really crazy is the fake dollars, and on the other side, it's like the real tip is like go get saved, and it's like you can't not tip me and then leave me this because that's just
well, right.
Like I live in the South. You really think I have not been to church? I've been there. I've been there. But it's that weird closed-mindedness that people get, and I feel like it's. I would say especially now, but all through time, there's been all kinds of closed-mindedness. It took out Caesar's army, but they also think that it could have been related to the Salem witch trials because it can give off effects similar to LSD.